I think that meditation research today is, in some ways, it's in its adolescence. So we've gone through this childhood period where we're barely beginning to say, can we use the tools of science to investigate the effects of meditation or the correlates of meditation? And there were a few studies that did that. And then just like when someone's going into adolescence, there was this huge growth into, we're going to look at hormones and brain waves and depression and anxiety and emotion regulation and cognitive flexibility and compassion and all of these things. And so there's this tremendous amount of beautiful research being done on meditation. And yet there are these sort of undiscovered countries that are so relevant to what happens to people when they meditate and what actually mediates their feeling better about their lives and having more purpose and meaning that aren't being investigated, like experiences of oneness and non-duality, like very difficult stages and states in meditation. There are a couple people studying this, but in general, we've been looking at meditation almost like a drug or like aspirin. So give somebody meditation and then they get better. So when you have people who are like, wow, my whole entire ego just dissolved and I couldn't leave my house for 6 months, they again say, that's an outlier. Don't worry about that. That's well, the truth is that happens to a lot of people who meditate. They have some dissolution of self that can be highly distressing. So that's an important arena for research. Also, people have amazing experiences of psychic phenomena or feeling a transmission from a highly experienced or enlightened teacher that makes them feel enlightened for some period of time. Or, we go to meditate in groups. And why do we do that? Well, it's partly for social reinforcement, but it's also because most people who have meditated in a group can tell you there feels like there's some field of consciousness that's being created by a group meditation that you don't get when you're by yourself. Well, is that just imaginary, or maybe is there really a field of consciousness? And people have experiences of seeing lights. People have increased synchronicities in their lives. Most of our meditation research today is above the neck in one person. And so what about the embodied aspects of meditation? What about moving meditation? What about dyadic meditation with another person? These are realms that are completely wide open for scientific investigation. And yet there are some resistances to studying these aspects, especially if they have to do with psychic phenomena or ESP or reincarnation or, things that are taboo, because scientists are concerned it's going to contaminate the field and it's just going to take the whole endeavor down. I just don't believe that. I think we can't just conveniently exclude a whole entire section of what happens for people because it's not palatable to us. And there are, in fact, methods for studying these things. And so when I talk about fearless science, it really means if you're interested in it and you think it's important to health and well-being and thriving of humanity, and you think it sheds light somehow on the fundamental nature of reality, you should be able to study it without getting ridiculed or humiliated by the conventional folks.